What's up, y'all? Candy Girl with my 2 cents on the first year of marriage. I just want to put this out there. I'm not coming with no relationship advice or coming off as no relationship expert. If anything, I'm trying to figure it out just like everybody else. But my husband and I have just celebrated our 1 year anniversary of marriage. And he was like, you should do a video on what kind of things you learned in the first year of marriage and how, other people can benefit from that. I thought that was an excellent idea. And the reason why I think it's such a good idea is because a lot of times people want marriage to seem like this is the most perfect union that you can form and that it's a wonderful thing. You're in for a future of happiness and fulfillment. And a lot of people are not really saying the things that you can deal with, especially in your first year of marriage when you're still trying to adjust to living with one another. So to kind of break that cycle, I just wanted to be upfront and honest about some of the things that you're going to have to deal with in marriage in general. So the first thing that I will say is that there's a lot of adjustments that you're going to have to make, and I think that's where half of the conflict will come from. I personally was 31 years old when I got married. For me, I had gone straight through school, got a bachelor's, master's, a law degree. I had traveled around the country, including to places like Honolulu, Hawaii for months, all expenses paid. Been to Anchorage, Alaska for 6 months, all expenses paid, eating king crab on the company dollar, all kinds of stuff. I went to the Peace Corps, so traveled to the other side of the world by myself, So basically I experienced a very full life, a very independent life, where I didn't really have to run something by somebody else before I did it. If I wanted to take that job in Hawaii, I could take that job in Hawaii. If I wanted to go to the Peace Corps, I could do that. If I wanted to decorate my house a certain kind of way, with certain colors and certain objects, I could do that. If I felt like eating ramen noodles tonight, I could just do that. Instead of having somebody look at me like, so that's what you decided to make? Like, I was kind of hoping for something a little bit better than that. So it was a lot of things that I just wasn't used to, and I think, and this is just assumption, but if you get married younger, you're kind of growing into your adulthood still, and you don't really know any other way personally to compare to, as far as, having that sense of independence and autonomy. So a lot of the adjustment came from not having as much of a final say-so on how things were going to be. And so when you are living in an authentic space, you're being authentic with each other, you're going to disagree, even on the smallest of things, like how the house should look, from its decorations to its cleanliness. You're going to have differences of opinion in, what we watch on TV right now. One of the biggest things that I didn't realize was that when I get home from work, I can turn on my TV, watch whatever I wanted to watch, not feel guilty about it. But instead, that time after work, those few precious hours before we have to go to bed, that time could be quality time with my mate. And so I have to think about, is he really interested in watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta and RuPaul's Drag Race? Like, he might not want to watch that. So now I have to really think about those kind of things, and that can really turn into an argument, like, for real. And I guess that will lead me to my next thing, is that a lot of the arguments that you're going to have is about learning one another, what makes the person tick, what some of their soft spots, what is a deep-rooted issue for them that precedes you in every sense of the imagination. It can be something so very simple and it could blow up to be a big argument because there was a deeper issue deep down inside. And so when when you're at a much more closed quarters with a person and it's just you and them living together, some things are going to come up, and some of those things are going to be deep-rooted issues that really shake that person to the core, and you're going to have to learn how to not take it personally, get down to the bottom of it, and not hold a grudge. And that's the next point. Grudges do nothing, absolutely nothing for you. It doesn't protect you from future harm. It does not build the other person's respect for you. Nothing. It does nothing. And so the way that I look at it is, once you have kind of come up for air after an argument and you realize exactly what has happened, do your part. Apologize for what part you had to play in it, no matter how painful that can be. Apologize for your part, and don't hold a grudge, regardless if they apologize or not. Because the way that I see it is, 5 years from now, I'm not even going to remember what this argument was about. It probably ain't going to take that long. 5 months from now, 5 weeks from now, I'm not going to remember what we were fighting about. And at some point in my life, I'm going to get over it. I'm going to stop being so angry about it. I'm going to move on to bigger and better things in life. So the time that it takes from the moment that you are upset to the time that you get over it, all of that time in between is a lot of wasted energy. Energy in this universe cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. So you can't get that energy back that you just wasted on that argument and staying angry. You're not going to get that energy back. There's only so much energy in this universe that you're going to have in this limited amount of days that you have on this earth. Not only that, but you really can't destroy that energy. It's always going to be, even just a minuscule amount, it's always going to remain in you. You're not going to be able to purge all of that. So it's a lot of wasted energy and space and thought that serves you no purpose whatsoever, because all it's going to do is build resentment, cause another argument, which will be even worse than before. So just let it go. Don't hold grudges. 2 more things. Another thing is that you have to learn a person's love language, because you may be thinking that you're loving that person the best way that you know how. But if that person doesn't recognize what you're doing as love, it really is not going to leave the type of impact that you would have hoped your affections would have on that person. So let's say, for example, I speak English and my husband only speaks Swahili. Well, I better learn how to speak Swahili, because he's not going to know what I'm trying to say. And it's the same thing. If I don't speak his love language, whatever that love language is, then I'll never really be able to express exactly what I'm trying to have him understand. And that is that I love him, and that I cherish him as my husband, and that I want to do certain things to make him understand that I love him and I appreciate him. So, for example, his love language, and this is in a book, it's called The 5 Love Languages. I think it's by Jerry Chapman. Don't quote me on that, but look up the 5 Love Languages book. My husband does a lot of acts of service for his family members, especially his female family members, as well as for me. So he might do work on their car if they ever need anything. He might do some repair work around the house. He may help me with my business plan or my resume. He may cook dinner on one night. Not saying that it's just my responsibility to cook dinner every night, but what I'm saying is that he may choose to cook dinner one night because he sees that I'm completely overwhelmed. He's like, I don't even want you to have to even think about what we're going to eat tonight. I got you, things like that. He may do something that is service oriented. It requires him to get up and do something for another person. That is an act of service that is also a part of his love language. And so what I need to do in return is to do those things in like manner. So it may be that, look, it was his week to do the laundry, but I can tell he ain't feeling too good. He's had really long days at work. Let me just go ahead and put up that laundry for him. You know, he'll notice and he'll be like, damn, that was really sweet. And that may be something that makes him feel a whole lot better than just having sex with him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that men, their love language is just physical touch, which would, you know, and they take physical touch to such a literal point that it's just like, so it's way too simple-minded. And men are not that simple. Actually, my love language is physical touch. And when I say physical touch, I'm not talking about like sex. I'm talking about holding hands while we're walking through the store, or a kiss on the cheek, or stroking his cheek, things like that. When I walk through the door before I leave for the day, I'll, you know, give him a kiss. Those kind of things are my love language. It's just acts of physical touch that are showing affection. And so for him, you know, if he wants to speak my love language, he needs to hold my hand. You know, he needs to stroke my cheek. He needs to kiss me when I come in the house at the end of the day. Things like that. And so one way that we remember to speak each other's love language, or at least have something that day, is we have a little sticker. It's just like a little circular sticker. You can get them for like $1 at the grocery store. And it's just a pack of like little circular stickers that you can like write prices on and stuff on merchandise. So I just took one of those little things and wrote quality time, or wrote physical touch, or acts of service, and just stuck up on our mirrors in the bathroom. And so when we're using the bathroom, washing our hands, we can look at that, and it's just a subconscious reminder that we need to, you know, do certain things that will show the other person love. The last thing that I will say is that everybody wants to be heard and they want to be understood, and those are two different things. One is hearing that person. Don't be trying to cut them off every time they speak. When you're having a heated argument or a discussion or whatever, don't be just sitting there. You look like you listening, but you're not really hearing them, and you're just waiting for them to take a deep breath in between sentences so you can cut them off and say what you have to say. You really don't want to talk to them in person about the issue. That's frustrating, and that can be very demoralizing to a relationship. But not only that, not only should you try to hear them, but you should also make sure that they understand that they're understood. So meaning that, you know, not only did I hear what you said, but I feel you. Like, I get where you're coming from. Nobody wants to feel like, you know, just for an example, if our argument was about me eating the last of his Krispy Kreme donuts. He don't even eat donuts, but let's just say, for example, if that's just the one coveted thing that he has, and he feels like he does so much in this house and for my family, his family, and the only thing that he likes to do is have his Krispy Kremes, it could be a deep-rooted issue of, dang, you know, I feel like everybody is just taking from me and not giving. And it's the one thing that I want for myself that nobody else can have. And then here it is, they taking from me for that too. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a deep-rooted issue, and you should try to figure out what that is, so that you can kind of keep that in mind for other issues in your relationship, and understand what makes them tick and why they ticking right now, so that you don't take it so personally, and you can also kind of slow your roll, check yourself, and try to understand. Because a lot of what this first year of marriage is trying to understand the other person and how to live with that person. But anyway, so that's my, 2 cents on the first year of marriage. Y'all let me know what other things that you have learned in marriage. This is coming from a person that has lived 31 years of, a very productive, exciting life. And not only that, but I've never lived with a man before either. So this was like a double whammy for me. So anyways, you guys, love you. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Love and blessings.